The conscious mind is basically curious, open. It is also equipped to examine its own contents. Because the psychological theories of the last century, many Western people believed that the primary purpose of the conscious mind was to inhibit unconscious material. Instead, it is also meant to receive and interpret important data that comes to it from the inner self. Left alone, it does this very well. It receives and interprets impressions. What has happened, however, is that man has taught it to accept only data coming from the outside world and to set up barriers against inner knowledge. Such a situation denies the individual his full strength and cuts him off consciously now from the important sources of his being. These conditions inhibit creative expression in particular and deny the conscious self the continually emerging insights and intuitions otherwise available. Thought and feeling then seem separate. Creativity and intellect do not show themselves as the brothers that they are, but often as strangers. The conscious mind loses its fine edge. It cuts out from its experience the vast body of inner knowledge available to it. Divisions, illusory ones, appear in the self. Left alone, the self acts spontaneously as a unit, but as an ever-changing one. Listening to voices both within and without, the conscious mind is able to form beliefs that are in league with the self's knowledge as received from material and non-material sources. Then examination of beliefs takes its place, along with other activities, naturally, easily, without effort. Once the conscious mind has accepted a collection of conflicting beliefs, however, definite attempt is necessary to sort these out. Remember, even false beliefs will seem justified in terms of physical data since your experience in the outside world is the materialization of those beliefs. So you must work with the raw material of your ideas, even while your sense data may tell you that a given belief is obviously a truth. To change your experience or any portion, then you must change your ideas. Since you have been forming your own reality all along, these results will follow naturally. You must be convinced that you can alter your beliefs. You must be willing to try. Think of a limiting idea as a muddy color and your life as a multi-dimensional painting that is marred. You would change the idea as an artist would change his palette. The artist does not identify with the colors he uses. He knows he chooses them and applies them with a brush. So, you paint your reality with your ideas in the same manner. You are not your ideas, nor even your thoughts. You are the self who experiences them. If a painter finds his hand stained with pigment at the end of a day, he can wash the stain off easily, knowing its nature. If you think that limiting thoughts are a portion of you, permanently attached therefore, you will not think of washing them off. You will behave instead like a mad artist who says, "My paints are a part of me. They have stained my fingers, and there's nothing I can do about it." There's no contradiction, though there may seem to be, between spontaneously being aware of your thoughts and examining them. You do not have to be blind to be spontaneous. You are not being spontaneous when you indiscriminately accept as your own for a fact every bit of data that comes to you. Many beliefs would automatically fall away quite harmlessly if you were being truly spontaneous. Instead, you often harbor them. Previous limiting ideas accepted figuratively from a restraining bed, gathering other such materials so that your mind becomes filled with debris. When you are spontaneous, you accept the free nature of your mind, and it spontaneously makes decisions as to the validity or non-validity of data it receives. When you refuse to allow this function, it becomes cluttered. No apple tree tries to grow violets. Quite automatically, it knows what it is and the framework of its own identity and existence. You have a conscious mind, but this is only the topmost portion of your mind. much more of it is available to you. Much more of your knowledge can be conscious, therefore. But a false belief, a limiting one, is as ambiguous to your nature as any apple tree's idea that it was a violent plant. It cannot produce violence, nor could it be a good apple tree, while it tried to. The mistaken belief is one that does not fit the basic conditions of your inner being. So if you believe that you are at the mercy of physical events, you entertain a false belief. If you believe that your present experience was set in circumstances beyond your control, you entertain a false belief. You had a hand in the development of your childhood environment. You chose the circumstances. This does not mean that you are at the mercy of those circumstances. It means that you set challenges to be overcome, goals to be reached, set up frameworks of experience through which you could develop, understand, and fulfill certain abilities. The creative power to form your own experience is within you now, as it has been since the time of your birth and before. You may have chose a particular theme for this existence, a certain framework of conditions, but within these, you have the freedom to experiment, create, and alter conditions and events. Each person chooses for himself the individual patterns within which he will create this personal reality. But inside these bounds are infinite varieties of actions and unlimited resources. The inner self is embarked upon an exciting endeavor in which it learns to translate its reality into physical terms. The conscious mind is really attuned to physical reality then, and often so dazzled by what it perceives that it is tempted to think physical phenomena is a cause rather than a result. Deeper portions of the self always serve to remind it that this is not the case. When the conscious mind accepts too many false beliefs, particularly if it sees that inner self as a danger, then it closes out these constant reminders. When this situation arises, the conscious mind feels itself assailed by a reality that seems greater than itself, over which it has no control. The deep feeling of security in which it should be anchored is lost. The false beliefs must be weeded out so that the conscious mind can become aware of its source once again and open up to the inner channels of splendor and power available to it. The ego is an offshoot of the conscious mind, so to speak. The conscious mind is like a gigantic camera with the ego directing the view and focus. Left alone, various portions of the identity form the ego, degroup, and reform, all while maintaining a marvelous spontaneity and yet a sense of oneness. The ego is your idea of your physical image in relation to the world. Yourself is not unconscious then. You are quite aware of it, though you often reject certain thoughts about it in favor of others. False beliefs can result in a rigid ego that insists upon using the conscious mind in one direction only, further distorting its perceptions. Often you quite consciously decide to bury a thought or an idea that might cause you to alter your behavior because it does not seem to fit in with the limiting ideas that you already hold. Listen to your own train of thought as you go about your days. What suggestions and ideas are you giving yourself? Realize that these will be materialized in your personal experience. Many quite limiting ideas will pass without scrutiny under the guise of goodness. You may feel quite virtuous, for example, in hating evil or what seems to you to be evil. But if you find yourself concentrating upon either hatred or evil, you are creating it. If you are poor, you might feel quite self-righteous in your financial condition, looking with scorn upon those who are wealthy, telling yourself that money is wrong, and so reinforcing the condition of poverty. If you are ill, you may find yourself dwelling upon the misery of your condition and bitterly envying those who are healthy, bemoaning your state, and therefore perpetuating it through your thoughts. If you dwell upon limitations, then you will meet them. You must create a new picture in your mind. It will differ from the picture your physical senses may show you at any given time, precisely in those areas where changes are required. Hatred of war will not bring peace. Another example, only love of peace will bring about those conditions. You may take your break or end the session as you prefer. This was Seth Speaks, The Nature of Personal Reality, Chapter 2, and our Part 11. What did you think about this particular reading? Please leave it in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with a friend, a family member, or anybody. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I am Tony Victory, a wolf uncaged. Thank you. Peace.